Good morning, beautiful. I hope that this finds you well rested and ready to begin your day. This is your Daily Tarot Oracle, your daily insight on life and love for June 2nd, 2022, also being timeless. Wherever you're catching in time, this might be relevant. I could close that window, however, I'm not going to because it's pretty humid. I need the air movement. This is a general collective reading. Don't ever force these to fit your life. If you do have questions about booking a private reading or any of the services I provide, or seeing what even those are in the first place, go to the description on the main page, find my email address. It's RaisingSvek2019. Oh yeah, it's there, it's at Gmail. And you can find me on the social platforms with the @ RaisingSvek, and it's one word. No punctuation or numbers or any of that funk. All right. Again, general collective. Don't force this to fit your life if it doesn't. But if you found your way across this, stick around. This might be a real big message for you. Somebody from your past is coming up and they're not offering you a flippin' thing. Not an apology, not a, hey, how you doing? This person is coming in with some sort of a message of, I don't know. It looks like they want to really just kind of mess with you, mess with your head. I see a lot of manipulation about this, and I see that you're not... Okay, when somebody is arguing with you, it's important to remember that if they're perpetuating the argument, that they probably enjoy. It's like a pig in mud. Stop engaging in it. You're upset. Your reaction is everything that they're going for on this. And that's what I'm really seeing in here. The biggest thing that you can give them is no response and or, I don't know, what is the opposite of what they are looking to get? Be that. Starve them of the reaction they're hoping to achieve with you. This is somebody who has multiple things going and is completely out of whack, and they're having a hard time keeping their head above water. They're not seeing any fulfillment in their life. This is a really highly agitated person, kind of a D-bag if you ask me. Don't even bother trying to talk with them. You're not going to make any sort of headway. They will take whatever you are saying, kind of mess it around on you to where you are either gaslit or you're somehow making them the victim. Why are they doing this? They really don't have many other things to do at this point in time. They're not right in the head at this point. So the Queen of Swords is saying, listen, keep them at bay. It's just going to complicate your days. So what else about this? They've been having a lot of things fall apart in their life, and I think that they were looking for some sort of sense of comfort in talking to you, but this is somebody who you definitely had a falling out with. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to reach out to you. Maybe, you would probably forget what had happened. You're all about forgiveness, but you're going to remember the brat's name, aren't you? That's what I'm seeing with this. This is not the day. This is not the person you want to be handling. And honestly, they're probably going to need somewhat of a handler themselves. I really don't feel like they're in control of themselves. Okay, a new dawn's approaching. Awesome. These are good things. These are good things. These are things that we can handle. All right, so the mermaids and the dolphins. What do you want to tell the collective? Pay attention, alchemy. There's a lot of magic that's apparently happening now. Well, how is this happening with this person who's trying to create some sort of a static in your life? Oof. Ready, set, go. Treasure chest, self-employment. Okay, so dig this. You know how this person would be trying to get some sort of a reaction out of you, or some sort of a fight, whatever the case may be, to try and get one over on you. This is saying, okay, show how amazing you are, how wonderful life can be, how you're this total boss who's taking control, how you have moved beyond them, and there is not a flippin' thing that this schmuck could do to entangle you. Oh yeah, that's gonna be some sort of psychotic pleasure right there. Yeah, well, it sucks to be you, but it's kind of hard when life is going so great over here, huh? drive them absolutely bonkers. Do it with a smile on your face too. All right, this is what's coming underway. So it's not like a trying to stick it to them. There's definitely some sort of psychotic pleasure in being like, yeah, well, everything's great over here though. But in not engaging in that fight and stooping down to what seems to be their level, showing how much you've grown, how elevated you are. It's not an elitist attitude. Do not mistake that. This whole elitism thing that you're better than anyone else, you're not. It's just you moved on from pettiness. Wouldn't you know it? There's actually a treasure at hand once you do not stoop back down to a place you fought so hard to grow out of. So let's look at this. So, you know how I record a day in advance with the readings? If not, now you do. Last night I didn't get the readings, all of them uploaded until almost 2 in the morning. And I had to wake up super early to begin readings for the day. I've been doing readings nonstop. So I had somebody who accidentally missed their appointment, and wouldn't you know it, I had a half-hour break. So I took that time and completely passed out. It was really nice. But that's why you're seeing like everything just like at its bare basics. I have a washed face and I have washed hair. You're welcome. Okay, back to the reading. What are you not being open about? There's something about this that's bothering you, and it's the fact that you have to be in a changed direction. That's what the struggle is right now. You want to react. You want to get into this argument with them. This is a huge test for you, that you've changed directions in life and changes upon you. It's this constant. So it's like getting frustrated with an elevated standard for yourself. How come these other schmucks get to have, you know, easy, or they don't want more, they don't crave more, they are just happy sitting in whatever their situation is, or they're not doing anything to change it and they'll still complain about it. But the thing is, you have like this higher standard. You have this, it's not an above and beyond intelligence. I'm not saying that you're definitely intelligent. It's not that, but again, it's not that elitism. It's just you have enough of self-awareness to want more. Your life requires more discipline than another person's life. And you will absolutely sit in the crazy or the annoying or the overwhelming part of a situation because you know that you have to push through it. You're not going to give up like other people have. And that's incredibly frustrating for you. How come it's always you who has to do something? How come it's always you who has to have like a higher standard? Or how, you know, just things don't get handed to you or come easy, or you don't give up easy. You don't have it in you. That in itself is frustrating. So let's see. There's something that, hold on. Yes, I know I've been reading these recently. So I want to go to 59. The Law of Relativity. Let's hear about this. This universal law states that each person will receive a series of advanced tests and initiation for a purpose of strengthening the light within. So when we see these tests as lessons for growth, this is what's happening with you. Okay, we stay connected to our hearts and we grow and become stronger from these lessons. By the way, this is the book. I flippin' adore this book. It's by this chick right here. So it's the Law of Relativity. Relativity, there you go, I was saying it weird. This education teaches us to compare our lessons to another's lessons and learning to put everything into a proper perspective. No matter how challenging our lessons are, others around us may be experiencing more difficult life lessons. And the eighth law concerns how we view an object, incident, or event. It's our interpretation of it, really. So nothing is bad or good until we interpret it to be so. I get a notification about my sons in their school and moving on to the next grade. So back to the reading. All right, so when you witness an object, incident, or experience in life, it's not going to take on energy until you interpret it. This interpretation will be based on your past experiences. You will look at a situation and then compare it to something that is negative or positive based on your past. When you observe a situation and compare it to something more difficult, then the situation at hand starts to look better. All right, this can also happen where in the opposite, when we're looking at a situation and compare it to something that looks better, then the situation at hand is going to look worse. How sick is that this is coming up in the moment right now? With this law, we find that things are relative to each other. All of the laws are related to each other and interconnect and are really all one. There's no bad, there's no good, there's no right, there's no wrong, until we compare to something else. So, let's see, asking the right questions. So when met with a law of comparison, ask the question, sorry about the car in the background. Again, I need the air movement right now. Ask the question that assists in your growth, such as, what am I going to learn from this? And how is this going to assist you further in your spiritual growth? So in this, the comparison is not negative interpretation of anyone else. If you approach the law in this way, then each lesson you meet in your life will give you what you want on this journey towards healing, growth, and evolution of your soul. This will assist you on becoming enlightened on your journey. The biggest lesson here is to be conscious that choices are made from our hearts and not from your ego. Ego would lead to judgment. Begin to look at every situation as relative, and then your interpretation of it that assists you to grow or to be victimized by your own judgments. So, let's see. Actually, so a judgment is a person is richer than me and has a better life. A consciousness of the law. You look at the same person and that person has mastered abundance and happiness, and you too are learning to embrace life. That person is healing and growing faster than I. That's a judgment. So the conscious of the law is by seeing where that person grows shows me where your growth will lead. And you may say, why compare at all? In this journey, the human walk, we all compare. We must. It is the law. It's actually what differentiates you from everything else. Everything that isn't you is something else. Everything that is you is part of your ownership. You get what I'm saying there? It's like you are constantly in the point of remastering and remolding yourself. So what do you want that mold to look like? Okay. So many say that we are here, many say that because they are spiritually evolved and healed, they no longer compare. They do, it's just not, it's just unconscious. So you lived in a house with a big yard, you had a creek behind it, and it was wonderful. You could fit 3 gazebos in it and had the lights on everywhere, and it was magical. Then you moved to a new place and it was very small and it had a small yard. The house behind it, there was a house behind it instead of a creek. For a long time, you weren't happy with this until you realized you were comparing it to what you had. When you choose to look at this yard with its own uniqueness and start to decorate it and put plants in it for the yard, the way the yard was, you found that you had much more joy in it than you did the other, as you did the other. If you use the law consciously, then you use the law of relativity in the healthy sense, even if you are comparing. When in an unhealthy sense, we use the law by seeing through the eyes of judgment, not through interpretation. Every day, a thought or two makes a comparison about something. Be conscious of this law in your daily activities and choose to walk the law with the flow and growth. So some ways that you can actually do this in your life is, first example, pay attention to your thoughts and pay attention for comparisons. This law should be as simple as, wow, I like that car, I wish it were mine. This comparison, because the car you want is interpreted in the mind being better than the one that you own. So the second exercise is write down larger thoughts that are in the forefront of your mind, such as, I will be happier when I have a mate, a divorce, house, etc. This is how you're comparing now to something that ahead that you think is better. The third exercise is take the answer from 2 and rewrite your interpretation, such as, if you wrote that you'd be happier when you have a mate, then you write down how you choose to be happy now and all the things in life that make you that you have now that make you happy. The fourth exercise is consciously change in that moment to how you see these comparisons as you are having them. So believe it or not, this reading starts off with somebody coming in to give you crap, to get under your skin because they're experiencing the law of relativity. They're in a low place and want to bring somebody they see on a higher level down. That in itself should be kind of a compliment to you because somebody's seeing you as you have grown. You're seeing this person as a nuisance and seeing how they're trying to bring you down, and you want to stick it to them. And I get it. It's a psychotic pleasure, and it's definitely going to be there. It's definitely going to be present. But this is saying, look at what you have now and look at where you could be. If you stepped into that level that was, getting down into a smaller or a lower level in your mind, then that would be a step back. But change your perception on it. How have you changed and how have you grown? And what are you happy with in your life now? It's not better or worse than anything that you have ever experienced. It just is because you're fully immersed in this situation. And there are these little pinpoints of happiness. What were you happy with before that you would want to recreate in the now with that? In its own circumstances, in the own environment. Is that making sense? Like, it's not better or worse, but you can't go back into a smaller space because you are no longer in that mindset. It took all of that mindset to get you here, and you still want to build on the more and have more that's coming into your life, and that's perfectly acceptable. And in fact, I want you to actually start practicing the law of relativity. Is it the law of relativity? Am I saying this right? Yeah, it's the law of relativity. Start practicing the law of relativity when you want to start building onto your life. It's not about you being happy when you get something. It's about being happy in the now and lining that up to something that is incoming on that same vibration. It actually goes right into the law of vibration. All right, so don't get sucked into the coulda, woulda, shouldas and the have-nots that you have either left behind or what you don't have now. Start focusing on what it is that you do have now. And this is saying, it looks like there's about to be a pause of reflection in your life, no real movement forward. This might be the closing of a chapter. And yes, there is a sense of codependency and living off of other people's opinions that's drawing to a close. And you have to make a decision on how are you going to live, how are you going to represent yourself, and what is the law of relativity? How are you being expressed in the current environment? So this seems like there is a feeling of being trapped that's coming up. Okay. This person is absolutely going to draw you into a sense of, am I trapped? Am I able to get away from this? You may feel like you can't get away from this type of person or situation, or it might be a reoccurring theme of a person or a situation in your life. So Spirit is telling you to recognize it for the trap that it is, but also realize that you're not trapped in general and that you actually have the emotional conditioning and the emotional maturity to completely overcome this situation and not feel like you have to be cast out of where you are right now as if you're some sort of fraud with it. It's bringing about this sense of imposter syndrome. Am I really here? Have I really done the work to do this? The answer is a resounding yes, but you have to see that through your own perception. So this might be where you've been experiencing some sort of resistance in your life. This person has come in to show you that resistance, and it's for you to be like, okay, I need to punch through this because it's not actually happening. This is a ghost from the past and you're no longer there. So when you do that, first off, you're going to get through it because you don't have a choice. Yes, life has more discipline for you, but it also equates to more freedom and courage, and not only that, but more control of your life. It's going to lead to unbridled happiness and a sense of purity and a sense of passion and looking at the life optimistically. No, there's still overcoming challenges and problems in your life. There's still dealing with karmas. This isn't an end all to be all. It's the current healing that's going on, and you're not a failure if you had slipped up. The point is recognizing where you are and the awareness and pushing through it. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back for a moment, and then it takes you 3 steps forward. So don't even sweat this. You do catch up to where you are meant to be. So then you have the King of Pentacles. It's protection, it's growth, it's really establishing some sort of seed for legacy, and it's you being bullheaded, and it's you being able to completely move on from that past and that past version of yourself. So then it's going to be 1 step after another. It's going to have a lot on your plate. It's going to have to be you learning how to balance. So we see a small practical start. I want you to really work on revamping your routine and your priorities, because there needs to be a readdressing of what you are experiencing in the current environment through the relativity of who's coming up from the past, and how you want to either maintain or move on from the current scenario. So you got to get over this timidness. It's not time for you to be shy. And this person, I think the only reason why you're being shy is because it brings up a hidden aspect of yourself that you locked away, which was probably insecure at the time, and masking it with this awesome bravery that you happen to have. So then you have the Emperor that's coming into play. Self-mastery, self-awareness, and not holding yourself back. So, my dearest, this has been the Daily Tarot and Oracle, the Daily Insight on Life and Love for June 2nd, 2022. Again, being timeless. If you have questions about booking your own private session, reading any of the services, finding out what they are, including time zones, availability, pricings, discounts, yada, 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 reach out. I'm not kidding. It's really easy. I'm definitely open to making a connection. I really do look forward to connecting with you. So do it. Until next time, stay safe, have fun, and just know that you're greatly loved and appreciated. Bye for now. So if you found your way across this, you've been dealing with the law of relativity recently. It's not about comparing yourself as better or worse than somebody else's life. I have a feeling that you may be experiencing the woe is me points, and I get it. It's super frustrating, but there's a way around it right now, so I kind of want you to listen to this. So it's a universal law that states that each person is going to receive a series of events, which is test and initiation. It's for the purpose of strengthening the light within. When you see these tests as lessons for growth, we stay connected to our hearts, and we grow and become stronger from these lessons. This education teaches us to compare our lessons to another's in order to put everything in proper perspective. No matter how challenging our lessons are, others around us may be experiencing more difficult lessons in life, and that's a matter of perception. So let's see. The eighth law concerns how we view an object, incident, or event, our interpretation. Nothing is bad or good until we interpret it to be so. So when you witness an object, incident, or an experience in life, it is not going to take on an energy until you interpret it. This interpretation will be based on your past experiences. That's a trip in itself. So it's what is the experiences that you've had up to this point that's going to lead you to view this incident, object, or situation in either a light or a positive light or a low light. That also awareness is going to be your control. You have the ability to change that point of view on it, and it's, again, these are going to be baby steps, so let's continue to listen. You will look at a situation and then compare it to something that is negative or positive based on past. When you observe a situation and compare it to something more difficult, then the situation at hand starts to look better. This can also happen in the opposite. We're looking at a situation and comparing it to something that feels and looks better. The situation at hand will look worse. Yeah, I know. I'm reading from a book, but if you found your way across this is something that you're experiencing in your current life or current situation in life. So with this law, we find that all things are relative to each other. All of the laws are related to each other and interconnected and really are all one. So there's no good, there's no bad, right or wrong until we compare it to something else. So when being met with the law of comparison, ask the questions that assist your growth, such as, what am I to learn from this? How is this going to assist me further in my spiritual growth? In doing this, the comparison is not a negative interpretation of anyone else. If you approach the law this way, then each lesson you meet in your life will give you what you want on this journey towards healing, growth, and evolution of your soul. It will assist you in becoming enlightened on your journey. Isn't that great? Okay, so the biggest lesson here is to be conscious of the choices that are made from our heart and not from your ego. Ego would lead to judgment. Begin to look at each situation as relative. It is your interpretation of it that assists you to either grow or to become victimized by your own self and your judgments. If you want to go further into that, hit me up in the DMs and I will definitely love to work with you on this one. This is a trip, and the fact that you're dealing with this right now says a lot about the pivotal direction of your life. So I hope that this works out well. You're worth the effort. All right, if you found your way across this, we are going to be getting a mini message, and I'm not quite sure how long it's going to be. I normally shuffle off screen because it takes up time, and I already started doing it, so here we are. So it looks like a lot of choices and judgments are coming into play right now. There's a lot of pivotal points that are just happening right now based off of past experiences in your life. I'm telling you, go watch the Daily Tarot and Oracle for June 2nd, 2022 on my YouTube channel. So this is talking about you not being impulsive. You are going to be put at a point of waiting right now because there's a lot of major decisions that you have to make from a grounded, centered state rather than a victimized or an over manic setting. So this is saying, all right, take a pause. What is it that's going to have the long-term benefits from you and not the instant gratification? This is going to have to be an investment for you. If you're not careful, it is going to be an impulsive decision for yourself. It's just going to be like, this is easy, this is what I want, we're doing this. No. Take a step back. Look at everything that's been happening in your life and start to think about what the big picture is. Where do you see yourself 5, 10, 15, 20, even years down the road or months down the road? It doesn't matter. But think of the big picture in this. What are you going to want to have the solid foundation and the firm ground on? Well, that's the same thing. The solid foundation and the long-term payoff. There, that's what I mean to say. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth going on. There is going to be working with others in this. This is not a solo journey for you. You have to make the decision solo, but the interaction of it is not going to be solo. So it's absolutely about solid foundation and looking at this not on a knee-jerk reaction. What else? This is going to be something that is very healing, and it also feels like it's healing, obviously, like more of the past, but okay. There's nothing more that you can learn from the past. Stop bringing that up in the current moment. Once you address all the situations that brought you here to this moment, then you can let it go. You don't need to keep looking back. That's not where you are going. That quick little reflection is going to show you what you've learned, what is no longer applicable to your situation, and then it hits to the grinding work on this. Okay, now this is where all the boss tough work is. And it's not going to be glamorous. It's going to be something where you're not going to want to do it. It's going to be pushing yourself against the grain on some days, because it's like going to the gym. You're not going to want to go every day, if at all. You're not going to want to do the consistency thing. There is going to be moments of bore and wanting to give up on it. This is saying you're going to have to remember to step back in those moments and look at the big picture. I do see that this is going to be a really emotional restart for you, and it doesn't feel bad. It's all about you moving on from the past and getting away from this overpowering energy. I feel like it's you taking your energy back and your power back from somebody who was very domineering in your life and not making the same choices that they had made. So it's no longer the woe is me and feeling sorry. It's more like, what else? Come at me. I'm bigger than this. So think big picture. Let me know how this turns out for you. All right, it's a message from somebody from the other side, whether it's a spirit guide, whether it's a loved one. This is what you need to hear right now. Listen with an open heart and an open mind. Okay. Do you ever wonder whether your ideas and inspiration might be coming through your soul rather than generated from your mind alone? We here want to tell you that we are always whispering into your ear about your highest good. We are conduits for spirit, letting you know that you are a living channel for this awesome co-creative energy. When you're feeling inspired, it means that you heard us. Inspiration means spirit is breathing through you. Inspiration needs your human compassion in order to keep it going so that you can make a difference in the world. So keep moving on, and keep moving on what inspires you. Let yourself be led to new experiences and know that this is why you're here on earth. Your purpose is to discover your spirit and nature and to bring forth through your efforts whatever is meant to be. So wondrous miracles have a way of showing up when you let your inspiration propel you. So selfless giving is an elixir that is sweet and life-giving and amazing, and it should be customary for everyday living. Right now, generosity is being asked of you, which is the divine inspiration, probably. Let go of debt, release an obligation, do a solid kindness for somebody for no other reason other than to exercise the heart. You will be surprised how quickly a generous heart is repaid. We know it doesn't happen often in the immediate exchange, so temper your expectations. Know that life has an uncanny way of sending miracles seemingly unrelated to your kindness, yet interconnected in magical ways. The more you act from generosity, the bigger your heart grows, and the more love and abundance you will experience. We also know that somebody could be entering your life with a generous offer for you. Take it and trust that you're worthy of and deserving of it. You have to receive and not just give. Even though life seems to be moving full steam ahead, it's time for you to rest. All right, so this is really about you being rest, being held, let things being given to you because you give so much. Okay, so allow ideas to flow through you and take root in your heart before they reach your mind. Honor this process by becoming empty and to allow for inspiration and the magic of dreaming. You might feel lazy or unproductive, but we know better. Just sleep is a way to recharge before renewal. So are you in a time for dreaming. In this powerful process of co-creation, your soul merges with spirit in a profound way so that you can receive your music directly from source and play it in your part in the symphony of life. You are being invited to bear witness to the great creation and tune in to what others can't hear. We have so many dreams to share with you in the sacred and in the invisible, so don't worry. We'll wake you when it's time to return with a new dream. No need to set an alarm clock. It's time for you to receive some really crazy gifts. Spirit is sending somebody into your life. There's going to be an opportunity. Spirit is telling you to say yes. You've earned it. Don't overthink it. As long as it's not dangerous or illegal. Jeez, I'm not telling you to be stupid. All right, let me know how this works out for you. Somebody has kind of a hair across their keister about you. They're, in a way, obsessed with you. This is somebody who hasn't made the headway that you've had. This is somebody who is pretty flippin' toxic. It's like you're the answer to the problems. You are the cause and the effect, and what the heck are you gonna do about it? So they see you as somebody who is absolutely a doormat and who actually kind of deserves the crap that they're going to give you. I do see an argument coming underway. The thing is, they don't even know you anymore. They have not had an association with you for a while, and this is somebody who's been around your life for a really long time, maybe not in physical contact, but you guys have known each other for years. They haven't grown. They're massively dependent on something. They're going to blame their failures and inactions on somebody, and it happens to be probably you, and I can't even imagine that it wouldn't involve a few others too. So what this is saying is, listen, don't roll over and take it. You're not somebody's punching bag. This is a major point for you to actually stick up for yourself and speak up. This person is still kind of treating you as some sort of either inferior person or just seeing you as a kid that never grew up, and they're trying to use some sort of intimidation tactic around it. They're really flippin' toxic. That's not even all that the cards are saying in this. So what else do you need to know about it? Yeah, okay, this person is almost like looking to have these quick fixes, cutting around corners, shortcuts, all that stuff. They're trying to have hope restored in their life, but they don't understand that they don't have to take this away from somebody in order to restore the hope and the faith and like the ability in their life. They've had a lot of upsets in relationships. That's not your fault. They are going through a spiritual ascension and they're fighting it tooth and nail and just having the self-victimization appeal to them. They got to get their head out of their butt. Where is my Reiki thingamabob? Huh. It's not here. Oh, there it is. So this person, they have to really work on their own willpower. They're going to have to stop being so critical of everybody. This might be somebody who's dealt with a lot of criticism in their life, either that or they're really self-critical. but they're projecting that out on you, and they're not making any ways to like work on themselves. They want somebody else to fix them. That's not going to be you, and you're not going to be their punching bag. I do see that eventually they are going to grow up, probably not around you, but they have to really work on their willpower and control, because instant gratification, slipping into addictive habits, is kind of their go-to mistake. They probably have been dealing with a lot of digestive system errors or challenges that have been going on right now. Yeah, I'm getting some swelling and some phantom pains going on. Whatever it is, this is their own doing, and they've got to grow up for it. So you're probably going to be hearing from them, if not now, in the immediate future. If this person is crossed over, then there's something that needs to be healed there that you have to do on your end, because there's still an energy attachment to you. So let me know how this fits. Well, somebody's getting over this subconscious desire for failure for whatever the affirmation is, and they're getting over their fear of success. This might be you. There's a lot of deception that I think that you have used and gaslit yourself with as a way to not use yourself to the full potential. And it seems like getting over the stagnance in your life, it feels like you're finally able to get over whatever the sense of fear is of once you accomplish something. It feels like that fear of success, where once you're done with it, now where are you going to go? Now what's going to happen? Are you just going to sit there? I do see that there's this feeling that you can't escape, and you try and put on a brave face for it. And then there's been a lot of condensed success that's going on. It's like you're ready to burst. You're just at the surface trying to have this breakthrough in your life. You're going to do it. But right now you're having that sling pulled back until it throws you into whatever your successful field is. There's absolutely no excuse for you on this one. Everything that you were telling yourself on why you can't do something is utter BS. Look at that. Utter BS. You're more than ready. The point is to take the next step. I don't care if it's putting your toe in the water. Any sort of movement is good movement on this one. And this, you don't get to make an excuse for yourself. Once you have no more excuses, you have to take full ownership of your life, which means that you can't rely on somebody else, as like a buffer on this. And this, you can't run away from yourself, and you can't hide from yourself. So there's a major investment coming in. There's a lot of masculine energy. So this is forward movement. This is external. And there's momentum, you're gaining authority, and I think that the confidence is really going to go through the roof on this. So let me know how this turns out. Make some waves. All right, so you're going through a spiritual awakening right now, and I'm really embracing this awesome psychic gift. And yes, it is psychic, and yes, it is an actual gift, and yes, it is actually happening to you. This is saying stop waiting for a perfection that doesn't exist. You have a lot of messages that you have to deliver right now. And stop trying to find out where the source of this is actually coming from, because this is something that seems to be rather skewed on the view. Like, it's overanalyzed for you. You have to keep moving forward. You don't get to stay still with this one. This is calling you out to something further. So this, stop with the excuses with yourself. You are here for a very important purpose. Spirit is not going to take any stupid excuses. It knows your heart. It knows your insight. And you don't need to be afraid of your gift. The world is not going to be coming undone because you spoke the truth. This, you got to say goodbye to your old way of living with this. And you can't hide your gift. I mean, you were created with it. You signed up to have this as part of your work in life. You don't get to deny yourself access. You're not evil, you're not lying, you're not delusional. Spirit is very clear about telling you this. You don't know where this is going to lead you, but you have to keep moving forward. You have to be a person of action, and you have to get rid of all of the hurdles between you and whatever this gift is, and whatever this dream or ambition in your life is. Stop putting confinements on, what your destination is. That is cheapening it. This is going to break through all of those barriers, and you kind of need to figure out what a new happiness looks like for you. Spirit has been giving you a lot of signs in your sleep, and also I think that there's always the numerology thing, but there's been a really specific sign, and I do feel like it's surrounding owls. Owls are usually a symbol of endings, death, so on and so forth, and I feel like there's been a visual of an owl, And this is marking a spiritual death and going through a rebirth and awakening with you. It's going to be intense, but it's only intense because you keep trying to find the epicenter, the core of it, rather than just letting yourself be open and have this flowing through you. You're not somebody who's doing something wrong. And again, this is all leading to overanalyzing of why this is happening to you. So this, you're going to create more problems for yourself. There's a mentor that's going to be coming in, and I do feel like this is an absolute perfect meeting, and they're actually going to be guiding you through this and really honing on what your specific skill is. So final card for this spirit, your life is absolutely changing. Your direction is changing, and I do feel like this is going to be not a non-stop trip or journey. It's going to be a pivot. I really hope that this made sense. You don't need to be afraid of who you are. You're pretty amazing and pretty insightful.